Fringe, Abuja held its first press briefing today, Thursday, 17 December 2020. The festival director of Fringe, Mr. Kenneth Owowo, said that Fringe is a hub where different creatives can interact in Abuja.
By the time we come next year, we would have had a full-time interaction, and we will not be new to you again. You understand? So my name is Kenneth Owowo. I'm the artistic director for Paul Studios in Nigeria. It's a production company based in Lagos. We've been operating for over 15 years now. So I direct, I act, I do choreography as well, I do consultancy, and
he also said that Fringe is an avenue that give young creative who doesn't have platform for them to execute their work.
Festival management. I was festival director for the Lagos Film Festival, an initiative of the British Council for 5 years, like I said earlier. That inspired another festival, which is the Lagos Fringe, an open access multidisciplinary arts festival as well. The Lagos Fringe has operated for 3 years now. Last year, we decided that since our colleagues have been operating in Abuja as well, it would be really great to have an extension of a collective. You know, the objective is to have Nigeria unite as one, in quote, in terms of the creative economy, the creative artists, communities, you know, to have everybody as a collective, where there's like a directory, there's like a resource where anybody from the international space who wants to reach out to any production company, or who wants to see work, or who wants to collaborate, you understand, there will be that resource at center or a hub where they can just go and they will see the work and they can interact and collaborate. So that's why we're setting up the Abuja Fringe. I'm the festival director. The festival producer is not here. She's indisposed. Actually, she was hospitalized, so but she'll be joining us for next year, God willing. And Yolashita is the festival coordinator. Abiodun Kasim is the head of operations and productions / production manager. You can see that he wears a lot of hats. He wears a lot of hats. Temitope Sani is our head of digital. She's not here too as well, head of digital and marketing. Karachi Atia, who should be here shortly. She's on our board as an advisory board member, but she's also head of comms for us. Eniola too is on the board, Abiodun is on the board, I'm on the board as well. It's quite a big family. So let me give you a brief summary of the Fringe and why we decided to do the Fringe. It was inspired by the Edinburgh Fringe and the Brighton Fringe. Both festivals have been in operations for over 20 years. In fact, longer than that. Way longer. And in 2013, when I visited the Fringe, I saw the model there. And we decided to, sort of come back here and adapt the model that exists, adapt it to our own system here. What we were doing was to, sort of open the corridors for every kind of work to come in. So there was comedy, music. It wasn't a theatre festival, it was a multidisciplinary arts festival. Do you understand? So it's what we came here to adapt and adopt. But we've gone a step further in terms of adapting that. We sort of guide the process. So we're open access for emerging artists, for producers, young voices who will never have had the opportunity to present work. Do you understand? They will never have had the opportunity to present work. They have the talent, they have all the creative incline you can think about, but they don't have the platform to exhibit the work. That's why the Fringe is here. It's an open access platform for mixed arts, all kinds of work, not just theatre, all kinds of work. There's film, there's dance, there's comedy, there's fashion shows, there's everything, arts exhibitions, there's just name it. Anything possible under the arts, anything possible in the creative economy, is what we do at the Fringe. Everything. So we've had shows by architects, you know, in their spaces where they're trying to, so they build a space, for instance, and they're trying to, you know, get people to understand the process that they've sort of gone through. We have shows like that people have used the spaces and the work has responded to those spaces. You know, we're encouraging young producers, new voices, and professionals to come into places, repurpose spaces, and see beyond the traditional spaces. Do you understand? So it's not just into the theater spaces. They can't afford these spaces. You know, we can't afford it. We say, we're artists, we're hungry, you know. We're always hungry because we can't afford these big spaces to create our work, to exhibit. So sometimes we exhibit once a year, twice a year, and that's not good enough. Do you understand? That's why we're here. Our major objective is to improve the lives of artists generally in Nigeria, to ensure that they have a living, to create work and be able to earn a living from it. The second objective is to upgrade the skills in terms of education. You know, so we have an array of workshops that we always put out there. And like what we've planned for this session, I'll show some of them on the screen in a short while. So we have workshops, we have panel discussions that are dedicated, they're committed to upgrading the skills of artists, whether professional or amateurs. They're dedicated to upgrading the skills. They're dedicated to fostering collaborations. Do you understand? So that, you know, as we act as a collective, we foster collaborations between companies, foster collaborations between international collaborators, for instance, where some work from here can partner with something in Brighton Fringe, who they're one of our partners as well. You know, the Goethe Institute is one of our partners as well. The British Council is one of our partners as well. So we can foster collaborations in terms of international companies partnering with our local companies here. Right? Let me stop there. I think I'm, you know, just venting. I'm so passionate when it comes to these things. Because, you know, I've been in this game for over 20 years, like I told you earlier. And half of those years were struggling years. I have to say this, yeah? Guys, it's struggling years. You know, as an emerging artist, there were no platforms to exhibit. No platforms to exhibit. So when we started to exhibit work in different spaces and we developed audiences for those spaces, the owners of those venues eventually would want to use the spaces for different things. It means that all the audience that you've developed, you lose them. Do you understand? So we couldn't afford these spaces, we couldn't continue. We had to think about repurposing spaces and then bringing these audiences that we developed into those spaces, you know, and having them experience the work in those spaces, away from the proscenium kind of thing. Do you understand? So those are the kind of things that you should expect at the Abuja Fringe. It's multidisciplinary arts. It will be totally about different things. Thank you.
Also at the event, the festival coordinator, Eniola Shita, said that the platform will help to promote our culture and identify us as a people
of Africa, but we do not have a national theatre in the capital. We do not have a national museum in the capital. We do not have a national library in the capital. These are the spaces that you need to produce, to preserve, to present heritage, and we are not doing that. That also tells me that that is not of utmost importance to the policymakers, because if they understood the role that creative industries play in the economic growth of any nation, they would not put that at the back burner. Culture is very important for us, and the Fringe Festival gives an opportunity for people who function in the creative space, in the cultural creative space, a chance to come together. So if you're starting out, if we had been able to do the program that we wanted to do, which was a much bigger thing as we started in January before COVID came and reset everybody's agenda, Fringe always has programs for children. We keep complaining that Nigerian children are aging faster than our upbringing of them. They are like, just imagine you go to a party, Nigerian children are dancing to the same songs their parents are dancing to. The lyrics are not for children. Who is producing books for children? Who's producing content for children? Who's producing shows for children? You don't have an opportunity to gather them except when you go and meet them in their schools. So when you have programs like Fringe, you're pretty much saying as a society that our culture, our identity is important to us, and we want to give everybody a voice to be able to express themselves. Also, we're in the north. If you are going back and forth across the geopolitical zones, culture does not crisscross. So it's when you come to Abuja that you start finding that, okay, Hausa is a language, not necessarily a culture. Do you understand what I mean? Like, there's a history behind Hausa language, or how will I put it? Like somebody once told me, in the north, they've been colonized twice. The Hausa language and culture came in, and then the British culture came in. You wouldn't know that. You would just assume that the same thing that happened in the southwest happened in the southeast, and that's because our stories are not crossing. The average Nigerian child cannot tell me a northern leader beyond what they normally see on paper and things like that. So we are trying to bring this project here, this process here, so that everybody has a chance to come to the table, and then it reflects the identity of the nation as a whole. I will now take the opportunity to walk you through the program of events that we have scheduled. And before I get into that, please follow us on social media, because that is the fastest way that we can disseminate information. A lot of people are operating in the creative space, but and that is because the physical spaces for arts do not exist. If you had all these people that do Macaroni and Mr. Macaroni and Co., if they had National Theatre where they had programs and small rooms where you can come and watch their productions, they won't rely so heavily on their 20-second skits. And they'll be able to monetize their performances quite easily than just sending it to you on WhatsApp and then you misunderstand what you are receiving out of context. These things make some sense. So what we've tried to do is, because we cannot come together in large numbers and we have to be very cautious, we have created a program that blends skill shops and workshops, performances, discussions with people that have experience in the field, an opportunity to witness and experience other people's work virtually.
Fringe also gives everybody a voice to express themselves. Lastly, the head of program, Biodun Kazim, said that Fringe helps to integrate, inform the people, and especially those in the youth bracket, because there are many idle, uninformed youth in Nigeria. He also believes that this will bring the freedom that Nigeria and Africa really needs.
Yeah, my name is Biodun Kazim. I am an actor, a writer, and I have directed every now and again, here and there. I also find myself an entrepreneur. And my journey with, the Abuja Fringe started with the Lagos Theatre Festival, but even started way before that with Paul Studios. We have done a lot of work together, my company, Majuma Theatre, and theirs. And for all the years, all we have always talked about is activating new spaces, activating new audiences, and recreating the experience for Nigerians generally. And now we have a unique opportunity in the face of this pandemic and economic disaster. We have a unique opportunity and we have a unique responsibility to educate, to inform, and to also facilitate growth for people in the youth bracket, because this is the future of Nigeria. We're not saying that we're limiting our operations to the youth, but we are willing very much to activate them as much as possible. There are many idle, uninformed youth, and that is a danger to any country, any nation. And we hope that what we're doing here and what we hope to start in Abuja can multiply into something that one day brings the freedom that Africa truly needs. Thank you very much.
Okay.